Hello and welcome to another episode of So What Do You Actually Do? Today we interview Abdullah, who works as a software engineer for Meta. Please stay tuned till the end of the episode to learn about the role and how it contributes to Meta. Also, if you're interested to hear the full unedited version, we have our link down below on Spotify. Enjoy.
I'm Abdullah, and I studied computer science at VCU. And I had a bit of a different background where like my schooling took a bit longer than others. So I actually went to community college first in Northern Virginia, and then studied there for 2 years, computer science, and then transferred. Didn't have the best grades to get into School of Engineering the first year, but yeah, so had to keep trying to get good grades and getting to School of Engineering. So then eventually I finished. It took me a bit longer, like I said, about 6 years. But thankfully it ended up helping because I got more times in the summer to do internships and such. But yeah, and then graduated with a computer science degree, started working in the field, and then worked a couple of jobs. But yeah, now here in my latest job. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's a story of determination. The cliche of the cookie cutter years of whatever degree is not applicable. It's just however much you make it to be or whatever
Yes.
path you make it to happen. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
So now is the main question of where do you work and what does the company do?
Yeah, so I currently work at Meta, and the company does, a variety of things. So as a lot of people are familiar with, the Facebook app, Instagram app, WhatsApp, those three platforms are majority of the things that I work on. So I'm a software engineer. I'm specifically work on mobile app development, and I got started at Meta about 2.5 years ago now. And as soon as I joined, I was an Android developer at first, but then learned iOS as well. And what I do, I had to think about it, like what I actually do. And it's specifically, I work on a separate app, which is called Meta Business Suite. So it helps small and medium-sized businesses who have a social media presence to integrate all of their social medias in one. And like if you have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, or a WhatsApp business account, you can kind of manage all of them in this one app that I work on. So like if you, for example, are getting messages from all three, you can manage in a unified inbox in our Meta Business Suite app, and then also cross post and such. So
That's
yeah,
so cool.
in a
That's like
nutshell.
the toolbox for businesses instead of having, I can imagine like different tabs or whatever, different phones, different apps is just all in one place type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It comes with a lot of, issues trying to get all these things together and a lot of complex systems, but in the end, yeah, it turns out to be pretty useful software. So
That's so
yeah.
cool. I guess from an analogy standpoint, I can imagine it's like the apps are different tribes and you're having them to sit on one table to communicate and they're
Yes.
do you feel like in this project as a software developer, it seems like you're not just doing the technical side of things. Do you feel is there a lot of talking with businesses and trying to get what they need and cross-functional teams meetings type of things, or is it mainly your scope of work is just the technical side of things?
Yeah, good question. So I can kind of give a bit of context about, in general, the company and working in this specific type of big tech industry, and then where I previously worked. Where I previously worked was at a government contracting company where it was solely technical. Like you had your job, they gave you the ideas, the project manager handled a lot of the tasks and like when you needed to get them done, and then you just do the technical. Whereas like here at Meta, you play multiple roles, you wear multiple hats. So you are the PM, you have to talk to multiple teams. You're the design lead where you have to make sure that the product works for the users. And then you're also a UX or user experience researcher as well, talking to users, getting them to understand the product and also understanding their pain points. So when I joined this company, that always kind of a surprise to me that, okay, you're not just a developer, you are three, four, five different things as well. So yeah, like I'd say about 40% of the job is just communicating with different teams, and everything pretty much non-technical, like thinking about the product, thinking about the strategy, ends up being like a little less than half the job.
Yeah. Wow. It's the
Yeah.
whole like having different hats and you're putting them throughout the day and throughout all the projects that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's so cool. So kind of zooming out now, what does a typical day at work look like from the moment you leave your home to the time that you come back? You can say that on a date if you would prefer a day by day or like generally speaking within a week or a month. But kind of whenever we're in college and people say, "Hey, apply for this full-time job at whatever company," my everyone's thoughts is maybe I'm just sitting on meetings all day, or maybe I'm just I'm working my own project and then I have to present like a final capstone or something. How is it like going to work?
Yeah, yeah. So I can describe like a day where it's like in the middle of the half or the year, and like we're working on multiple things, and then we're also managing projects that we've already completed. So I do go into the office every day, and so I get to the office, and I we don't really use email. It's a lot of chat, and so I go and check my chats, and then start to list out what I'm going to do for the day. Because we wear so many hats, it's way too hard to keep all of this in your head. That I realize that you just have to get everything organized. So typically, what I'll do is I'll first check on the features that I'm already launched. And so a very common practice in the tech industry is what they call something they call A/B testing. So A/B testing is when you first write a feature and you only enable it for a small set of users to see if it's going to be successful or not. So
That's called
sometimes,
beta testing type of thing.
yeah, so they specifically call A/B because it's like one group is a control group and one group is a test group. So it's essentially an experiment that you're running with a new feature. So when if you notice, if you're on like the Instagram app or the Facebook app, you'll see a feature and it's like only there for a week or two, and then you see it's gone. You were part of an experiment. You were part of a test right there. So essentially, when I start my days, I check the experiments that are in experiment, or check the features that are in experiment, and see how well they're doing based off of the metrics and the logging. So if it's affecting user engagement, or like if it's increasing, decreasing, if it's helping the users or not, I check that, see how that's doing, and based off of that, I can add tasks to my day and see like, okay, if this one thing is regressing performance, then I know I need to fix certain things of that feature. If everything's going good, then I leave it, and then I go on. So I first check my features that are in experiment. Then the next thing I do is check on the work that I have to do for the next feature, understanding how much I need to get done, and then after that, usually there's meetings throughout the day for different product strategy, working with different teams for specific features that I haven't started working on yet, but like we're strategizing to add later. And you need collaboration from other teams as well for that. So I'd say throughout the day, it's all three of those things like back and forth.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, you're never at a moment of dullness. There's something to do. There's always
Yeah,
something that requires either your brain tinkering to figure something or brainstorming with colleagues and then getting together. Last question. What advice would you give to anyone interested in pursuing the career that you have?
I'd say the number one thing that I've seen, engineers come into this company, and what companies like this really love is people who work on passion projects, people who work on projects that have a purpose and focus on a lot of big problems. So a lot of times you'll see people come in with from a startup or two, and or like working on personal apps that have grown, and they are able to get into this industry easily because that's what they really look for here. And like if you could take a problem, figure it out, and then make it scale into something big, I think those things are going to be super crucial to getting here.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. I really appreciate your time. Thank you again for listening to this episode. And now that you've made it till the very end, you might be interested to know more about the unedited version. It's right down below on the Spotify link. Also, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. A lot of people are interested about different roles in the world, and we'd want to shed light on those.